Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet. Go behind the scenes and beyond the headlines with the biggest names in pro wrestling and beyond.
Jeff Jarrett, great to see you.
In this business, the story behind the scenes, so much more entertaining than what you see on camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman.
Mr. Heyman, you are a master at the little things. That's how you turn good into great.
What does it take to achieve greatness? Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do.
That's an Emmy-winning performance.
How about it?
Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We get a light preview of ACC Media Days here in just a moment with Matt LaSarre. Also talk Florida State Seminoles, a team that I think is a little more intriguing. A lot of people look at this going in just saying, yeah, probably not going to be great. But I think with some of the bodies that they've added, if Mike Norvell can find a way to get a few of those going where we've seen them be pretty good or great, they got a chance to surprise some people. But I want to start with a coach that has been added to the staff, as Matt LaSarre from warchant.com joined us on the Higginbotham hotline. Tom Herman, now a member of this staff. Matt, give us the sort of between the lines of the how and why this took place and what he's going to be actually doing for that Seminole football team this fall.
Yeah, it kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, didn't it? It did a little bit for us. We had heard they were talking a while ago, but then it kind of went away for a while. But yeah, it's very interesting because from what we're hearing, he's actually going to be more on the defensive side on the ball, or working on the defensive side of the ball, which is weird since obviously his whole career he's done offense. But it's more of like, the best way to look at it, the way like I've kind of broken it down, is think of him being devil's advocate in that room for Tony White, the defensive coordinator, and some of the other defensive staffers of, we're going to do this. And he goes, well, what if I did this and attacked it this way? And that's just kind of keep going back and forth and give him a worst case scenario type of thing.
So how would you assess this offseason? Because it feels like they've been kind of quiet, but I like some of the additions, like Trey Wisner. I like Ashton Daniels. Like, there's some things to really like about it. They got good wide receivers. Like, it feels like there's some things to really like about what they have, and yet no one's really talking about them, but I think they're dangerous.
Yeah, I think the reason no one's really talking about them is just that, everything of the state of the program with Mike Norvell being in limbo and all that. But yeah, I agree with you. When you go position group by position group, for the most part, you kind of like what you see. Like, wide receiver room has a lot of talent there. Obviously, you got Deuce Robinson as someone who's probably going to be an all-conference guy. And the leader of the team. Then after that, you have Danzy, who's a track speed guy, and then Javon Boggs, who you look to step up. And there's some freshmen in there, Jason Lopez and Devin Carter, who could step up as well. But the only question I have there is the offensive line, because you don't really know what you're getting there yet. But outside, yeah, the running backs, Trey Wisner is a great addition, and Cam Martin, the new running backs coach, obviously he hasn't been in the Power 5 game as much as a coach, but everywhere he's been, he's had an 1,000-yard rusher, and Trey Wisner's done that before. And then you have Usman Kroma, who's a guy who was ultra-talented coming out of high school, didn't get as many carries last year as you would expect, but he is that guy that they value a lot, and you expect to be more of a two-man running back rotation this year, and probably pretty lethal if the offensive line's okay.
Xavier Chapman's a top 5 tackle in the portal. Matt, what are you talking about? We don't know what we're getting on the offensive line. That's having some fun. Having some fun on the show. You would need to be. There's some history there that we're not even going to put on you, so don't worry about it. It's okay. What do you expect the role for Ashton Daniels to be at quarterback for this team this year? I expect you to go a little bit more detailed than just play quarterback, obviously, but we've seen this offense ask different things of quarterbacks at different points in time. What do they need him to be or want him to be this year?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like, he doesn't need to do anything too crazy, right? Like, as we just went through, there's a ton of offensive weapons. You have a guy like Deuce Robinson who's huge that you could really just throw a jump ball to whenever you need, but he's really going to have to use his legs as well, right? We've seen Norvell in the past does better with mobile quarterbacks, right? You look to Jordan Travis as the prime example there. And his skill set isn't far off from Jordan Travis, the guy who can use his legs when he needs to, right? So I think in general, if he is able to improvise when needed, it'll be perfect. And he can just, again, we talked about that talent. Just rely on the talent that you have everywhere else, and he'll be okay, right? You don't need to go out there and be Tom Brady or an amazing quarterback. All you need to do is get the ball to your guys and let them do all the work.
So when you look at Mike Norvell stepping back in as the play caller, what exactly does that mean to you? Does that improve your confidence? Because I think Gus Malzahn's a good play caller. I just think that last year was a weird year.
Yeah.
So does that make you more confident, or does that make you a little concerned that there feels like a little desperation?
So obviously, like, on the hot seat, you don't know the situation. I kind of like it to where it's like, if he's going to go down, he's going to go down with the ship, right? And it's on his terms, which I do really like. It was a weird dynamic, as you said last year, where, on the sideline, you'd see the offensive huddle and Norvell's just kind of outside and doesn't look like he has much input, right? And I think that was weird for him. I don't think he really truly liked that role or didn't really know what to do in that role. So now being able to be more in charge and be more in depth in that, and even just kind of like seeing him around as a person, right? You can see the difference of he seems more comfortable and like happier doing all this stuff. So in general, I think it's just seeing his mindset change back to that will be good for him, because in the past, he's even said it, like, he's been good at it. I agree. Gus Malzahn's a good play caller, and at the time you needed that. But I think at this point the program needs Mike Norvell to kind of keep it over and take it over.
Matt LaSarre of WarChant.com joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, talking Florida State, but also ACC Media Days begins today. What are some of the big storylines that maybe you're expecting to get discussion, to be discussed, outside of just who's going to win the league, who has a chance to surprise in the league?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I'm not really sure what Phillips can say at this point when it comes to commissioner forums. Let's just hear it a little bit. Just concerned, of where he's with the other conferences. But I think something interesting that not a lot of people are talking about is, the tiebreaker situation. Obviously last year you had Duke win the ACC, and you had Miami go to the national title game and didn't even play in your conference championship game. So I wonder if you see some change there so that situation doesn't happen again. So it'll kind of be interesting to see if that's a comment made this morning here in under an hour.
So do you anticipate him being asked about the pressure he's under?
I don't know. That'd be interesting, right? It'd be kind of funny. He's kind of avoided those questions before. I feel like it's dodged, because there is there's a time clock on the conference at this point. Not on the conference as a whole, but you're going to lose Florida State, Clemson, your big brands soon now that they have that easy avenue out. But it'll be interesting. If it's anything like the Big 12 Media Days and that Sorsby question, anything can happen.
Matt, we appreciate the time, man. Great stuff. Great insight to Florida State, to ACC Media Days, what it may look like this upcoming season and over the next few days. We'll catch up with you soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man, for having me on.
There you go. Matt LaSarre of WarChant.com joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, talking to Florida State. Listen, Greg, we can have some fun with it. There are multiple ways to look at this, but you go look at Braden Jordan, you go look at Xavier Chaplin, you look at Quintravian Wisner, Ashton Daniels. These are guys that have had some ups and had some downs. But one thing they have in common, they've all played a lot of college football. If you can get them going a little bit, when we've seen them be at or near their best consistently, can they really surprise some people this year?
Yeah, I do. I think there's actually pretty good personnel offensively. I like their offensive identity. I love Mike Norvell as a play caller. I think he's amazing. I think they're going to be a bit of a problem for some folks. I do wonder a little bit about some of the personnel on defense. I think that's a fair concern. That's a fair reason to be skeptical, but the offense should be able to score. I'm not convinced that the offensive line is going to be elite. It hasn't been in a really long time. I don't even think in the 2023 season when they were 12-0, it was an elite group. 13-0, excuse me. So, no, I don't know if that group's going to be great, but they have the skill. And if you have skill and you have weaponry, you can make people sweat. So, yeah, I think Florida State's going to be a little bit tricky to play against. I'm not sure that they're necessarily like a playoff contender, but they're going to be a giant killer, I think, throughout the season.
I just think Ashton Daniels brings you a decent amount. I think he's sturdy. He's solid. I think he understands what he's capable of. I don't think he tries to force a lot of things. The mobility is good, not great. He's a little bit more of a north-south runner, but I feel like he has a good idea of when to just tuck and go. I don't think he goes too far in trying to keep plays alive. A lot of this depends on what they ask of him in the passing game. I do think he has limitations there, but if you can design something like I think about, they're going to run stretch play. Norvell's run it for like that's part of what they do. They're a big gap scheme team as well. But you think about Wisner on outside zone and what Daniels is able to do off of that on some boots and some play actions and things like those two are almost great fits for that. And then you think about Wisner, some of the patience, getting to the perimeter like on a counter, being able to make a cut off a puller, get north and south, or be able to bounce if that defender plays underneath. Like they've got some guys that fit what they do well. And we don't often see that. We often see, oh, this is a super talent that's just going to go play there. Let's see how it works out. We don't really know. But when you dive into sort of how they want to do some things, the talent that's coming in and what they're capable of, it could be a really nice fit. But like you said, what's the offense going to look like? How different is it going to be? That's why I asked the question of what's going to be asked of Ashton Daniels. Do they need him to be a Castellanos running the football? Do they want him to be that running the football? How much is it going to be down the field? Like we saw with Brady White at Memphis. Like I don't think he can be that guy down the field. So it's going to be interesting how they call it and how they design it, but they do have some guys that feel like they could be good fits for what we've seen it be before.
Yeah, and I like you said, I think they made a mistake 2 years ago in trying to go with a more statuesque quarterback with Uiagalelei. It didn't work out. Last year they went with the guy that was extremely boomer bust in Thomas Castellanos. Now I do think Ashton Daniels provides you a certain veteran presence, a certain level of maturity.
Yep.
That's not going to – yes, the ceiling might not be there as much as it was with Castellanos. Castellanos, when you caught him on the wrong day, we told you that for years. Like, this guy's a huge problem if you catch him on the wrong day. But you catch him on the right day, he'll throw you a couple balls and put it on the deck a couple times. So I'm pretty optimistic about Florida State, probably more so than others. I think they're about a 7-win football team. 6-win football team. 7, maybe if the stars align, they pull an upset or two, they get to 8. I think the schedule's brutal. The schedule's very, very difficult. But if they can pull off a couple upsets, which is not unreasonable, and it can be done. The problem is they got to win a couple games on the road. They're 0-10 in their last 10 games away from Tallahassee. That's a problem. So they're going to have to fix that. If they can fix that, that'll go a long way in kind of getting things back on the right track.
All right, let's look at that Florida State schedule on the other side and just maybe what could be done, what's possible, feasible in it next on Jocks.
Jocks 94.5 is live on YouTube every weekday, plus video shorts and podcasts. Find us at Jocks 94.5 and smash the subscribe and like button so you never miss a moment. Jocks 94.5 on YouTube.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I will always have a complicated relationship with this game, but people evolve. So do sports. Do not make me regret this. Do not make me devolve back to that guy that so many clones wish that I still was. And do not embarrass the entire country. Now, I can go back. I can get there fast. Lose tonight, and you got a real problem. Do not blow it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
You've been warned.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.